good.
It's just a matter of looking at it a lot differently. This actually, a lot of, and I'll be honest, a lot of things I stumble upon, it's by accident. But it's really just a matter of going in there and experimenting. I play around with something, and then something just clicks, and it's like, oh, that looks pretty good. So in this case, I'm just going to go into my channels and go down here and just toggle through the channels and see which one has the most contrast to the lightning here. And it's, in this case, it looks like it's going to be the red channel. So I'm just going to make a duplicate of that red channel, drag it down to the new channel icon there. So now it's an alpha channel. I'm going to go and bring up the levels, because you can run levels, pretty much any filters, anything you can do to an image, you can do to a separate channel. So on the levels here, I'm going to take the shadow eyedropper and just put it right next to this bolt of lightning. Not on it, but right next to it, when it's going to force everything around it black, except the lightning bolt itself. Now I can actually use the sliders and tighten up that contrast so I want a little bit, because there's a little bit of fuzziness right here. That looks good. Okay. So click OK. Now I'm just going to, all I'm going to do is invert this image. Just press Command or Control I, and now it's inverted it. So now it's primed to be turned into a brush, because everything that's dark or black on your canvas will be 100%, and then anything that's lighter will have some transparency, and white will be completely transparent. So I don't even need to make a selection of this when I go to define it as a brush. I'm simply going to go to the Edit menu, Define Brush Preset, and we'll call it Lightning. And at the time I was developing this, I was actually looking for a way to recreate lightning itself. I wanted to be able to make it a brush and then use a layer style to do it. And then when I was playing around with it, I discovered something by accident. And let me bring up an image here of this texture. So I'm going to go in and create a new blank layer in this image here. And we're going to locate that brush I just created. It's right in here at the bottom. So when I grab it, and I paint with white, well, okay, it looks like lightning. It's like, okay, that's not too bad. But then I accidentally painted with black and noticed, ooh, it kind of looks like cracks in that concrete there. So if I go into the brush settings and play around with the behavior of the brush, for instance, if we go into Shape Dynamics and take the angle jitter all the way to 100%, you'll notice how crazy it gets down here in the preview. Size jitter we'll take out to 100% as well. Maybe even apply a little bit of scattering. You notice how it's behaving down there at the bottom of the brush panel there. There we go. And perhaps even increase the spacing a little bit. So now when I go in here and paint, I'm just getting all these kind of cracks distressing into the wall now.
That's insane.
So what you can do to add to this, if I zoom in, is add a little bevel and emboss layer style and have it go down. Increase the size up. Now those cracks have some dimension now. Notice I got a little bit of edge to them, like right in there. See that?
Dude, that's crazy.
Dude, how do you think of this? So when I was just showing you the context here, this is an image I did. I was kind of recreating this thing from the Expendables. I got to this point and I was thinking, well, there's a hole in this wall, and you know what? It needs some cracks in the wall. And then a light bulb went off. I'm like, oh man, look at that brush I created. Well, I can go and grab that. And then go on this layer and just paint around the image and add cracks in the wall.
Dude, you're crazy.
And now that's a brush I can use anytime now. So I just, so it's, again, looking at things differently. You see an image, you look at it, you're thinking, I need something to this effect. Look at it with a different pair of eyes. You might be able to turn it into something you didn't think of before.
So if you're thinking of joining that, Corey is the guy that you should join for. Yeah, exactly. We let him do the tutorial. All right. So we're doing all these tips tonight. We're going to be here for a long time doing tips. We went and looked at different stock photography and found different paper backgrounds, postcard backgrounds, and I decided I want to jazz this up, kind of give it that whole rustic feel to it. And this was the one I found first, was this great Polaroid-like background. Well, now the question is, how do I get this picture to lay inside that background? Well, the first thing you're going to want to do is you're going to want to come in here and turn on that background layer, and I'm going to use my quick selection tool, and I'm just going to come inside here, and I'm going to select around the inside of the Polaroid. Now you'll see it bled over and we got some of the outside edge. Just simply come back in and hold my Alt or Option button, and I can remove that X side of that. Well, what am I going to want to do? I want to cut out this background and put it on the ground. Now with my Move tool selected,